Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for the APB recap. This is another installment of the APB recap where we're gonna recap most of the events that happened last week in the APB livestream. If you want to join in the live version, then check out the channel link down below. The stream is at Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time or 6 p.m. depending on the daylight saving thingy. And of course, once again, this video is sponsored by you guys. YouTube pretty much demonetized this channel, which I'm grateful for because that means I have a lot more creative freedom and less advertiser restrictions. If you want to support this channel even further or just to have your name be on the screen, then you can check out the links down below and support me through whatever means you like. Just $1 and you'll see your name there and you'll support this channel even further. I personally don't think that if your significant other is watching porn, it's considered cheating. But even in that notion, I think there's a line that needs to be drawn. This woman's boyfriend blew $10,000 on his OnlyFans addiction. That's right, he blew $10,000 on OnlyFans. He already has a girlfriend, he already has a kid, and yet he still blew money on OnlyFans. I don't understand how someone can be that down bad. But it gets worse. In a subsequent clip, the mortified mama said that she learned that her boyfriend maxed out his OnlyFans fetish, but declared that she is staying with him as he tries to beat his porn problem. Wow, that has to be up there in terms of the craziest I can fix him stories. The situation got so bad, even one of the OnlyFans model that claimed to have been paid by him said that they'll return the money. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The amount of simping that people do is so bad. Even the model had to return the money and tell you that you have to be more freaking responsible for it. Some people just have way too much money to spend and way too many responsibilities ignored. And some people are just so freaking lucky. The Phase 4 of MCU has been a mixed bag to a lot of people, and yeah, it was pretty much a mixed bag. But regardless of your opinions, one thing that's definitely factual is the visual effects that go into these shows and movies definitely require a lot of work. And unfortunately, a lot of visual effects artists and workers are expressing their dissatisfaction with Marvel as a client. That explains why a lot of the MCU stuff lately has been crap in terms of VFX. It's just nothing but CGI mess that's not really that polished properly. Some VFX artists even specifically request not to work with Marvel, but there are some of the biggest clients, so they have to work with them no matter what. Some even had a breakdown, punching through walls, throwing monitors, all because of the stress and deadline that Marvel is demanding from a lot of these VFX artists. A lot of these are just words being said off of Reddit, so you might want to take it with a grain of salt, but I can tell you this, it's not easy making a lot of those visual effects. It's not easy polishing them to perfection, and it's not easy doing all of that while trying to meet really strict deadlines. To put it simply, it's a lot of work, and I can see why some people, probably even most people, can get stressed out by the demands. Do you want to see why people think that the Phase 4 of the MCU has been, well, crap as of late, and they got it to a mixed bag status at best? Well, I think you can look no further than this graph. I don't know about you guys, but this graph over here says quite a lot. And you wonder why their quality has been crap lately. And you wonder why their workers don't like working with Marvel so much. One of the gaming industry's biggest issues is the overabundance of monetization schemes. Game companies will always find the most creative, most devious way to milk all sorts of money from its consumers. This doesn't just apply to game companies. A lot of entertainment industry companies will do all sorts of terrible anti-consumer decisions to keep their companies afloat. We talked about Ubisoft's dumb move last week. Go check out last week's recap. Recently, EA announced that Skate is coming back, which is cool. The problem here is that the game is going to be free to play and a live service title. If you immediately lost interest to this title, I don't blame you. To the eyes of a lot of gamers, the existence of live service and microtransactions have always been met with a lot of scorn. But to the eyes of the people who benefits from them, it's a big money-making machine. The CEO of Unity, who was formerly the CEO of EA, recently had this interview where he has an incredibly horrible take in regards to monetizations and microtransactions. But before we get to that, Let's talk about Unity in general. Unity, in case you don't know, is a game engine that's favored by a lot of indie developers. There are loads of great games that are made in Unity. Cuphead, Hollow Knight, Escape from Tarkov, Risk of Rain 2, all of these games are made in Unity. But unfortunately, Unity fell into the Sturgeon's Law, where 90% of the games made in that engine are nothing but absolute garbage. That law is actually commonly associated with fanfictions and fan works in general, where 90% of them are absolute crap. And since Unity is a very accessible game engine, a lot of game developers are making games with it. Some of these developers are making crap games. Actually, a lot of them are making crap games. Some of them either reuse assets, flip assets, or even steal assets from other stuff. Regardless, Unity has been in a crap storm as of late. They laid off hundreds and hundreds of staffers while their CEO, who again was the former CEO of EA, got his compensation jumped to 160%. This is one of the many reasons why the gaming industry is absolutely screwed. People at the top are the ones that reap the benefits, while the people at the bottom are absolutely screwed. This happens a lot with game companies as well. Most of the money that you spend on the games go to the executives, not the devs. The devs are screwed either way. And all of this hoopla was built upon the news of the merging with a company called ironSource. This company has a really shady reputation. ironSource was known for creating toolbars that are essentially adware, as in apps and softwares that just feed ads to you, even if you don't really want it. ironSource also has another program called InstallCore, which has been identified by Windows Defender as adware. Knowing the company's history of sneaking in adware, it's reasonable to assume that Unity also wants to nickel and dime as much as they can from the consumers through ironSource's technologies. They're going to find ways to monetize the game engine as much as possible, screwing the developers and the gamers in the process. This is purely a business decision made to reap as much profit as possible from the consumers. It's not a move that benefits the gamers or especially the developers. So now that you understand all of that context, let's get back into Unity and former former EA CEO's horrible take. The interviewer talked about how implementing monetization earlier in the process is an angle that is in pushback from some developers. The CEO said Ferrari and some other high-end car manufacturers still use clay and carving knives. Wow! Why are you making Ferrari sound like indie developers? The CEO continues, "It's a very small portion of the gaming industry that works that way, and some of these people are my favorite people in the world to fight with. They're the most beautiful and pure, brilliant people. They're also some of the biggest fucking idiots." Yes, that's right. People who make games with love and passion and not implement ridiculous monetization schemes are apparently some of the biggest fucking idiots. He had to backpedal this entire thing, but at this point, he might as well double down for all the good it did. The thing is, from a business standpoint, I can see why he would say that. I mean, if I laid off hundreds of my workers and I bathed in a 160% increase in incentives, I too would abandon my artistic integrity. I think most game developers are aware that gaming is an industry, and that to survive in this industry, they have to make as much profit as possible. And yes, games with excessive monetization schemes can still be successful, providing the game has some form of clout into it. From a business perspective, it is definitely stupid for game companies to not utilize all of the monetization potentials that they can, but it does hurt from a customer's perspective. Yes, your company will be successful, yes, your company will make lots and lots of money, but you will also gain a lot of negativity from the amounts of money that you try to nickel and dime from consumers. Then again, in this modern times that we live in, the most successful people in this world don't really care if they have to trample a lot of other people in the process. The ones who do care about other people's well-being aren't always the most successful people in the business. This is why I just don't really care about the industry anymore. I just chose to sail the seven seas. They said that this will destroy the industry and burn it to the ground. I say good. It should burn to the ground. But speaking of selling the seven seas, remember how one of the anti-piracy ads involved the tagline, "You wouldn't download a car"? Well, it turns out that most people actually would. And with the technologies of 3D printing, you can literally download a car. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to tell you that all of you guys should download cars too, because cars are like video games now. They too have microtransactions. The latest of vehicle microtransactions, yes, the latest, it's not a new thing, goes to BMW. BMW is now selling subscriptions for their heated seats. That's right, they are selling subscriptions for their heated seats. The idea is that the features are already in the hardwares of the car, but they are locked by the software who controls them. They are only unlocked by the people who paid for it. So it's basically car locked content, and you can unlock it for $18 with a yearly subscription for $180, 3 years for $300, and unlimited access for $415. Access to features that are already in the car. This isn't the only feature that they locked. There are also other features that they locked, and they've done this since 2020. And yes, this sort of thing is actually not new. Back in 2016, Tesla has this feature where you can pay an additional $9,630 to upgrade your car's range by 25% and top speed by 140 miles per hour. Tesla in general offers almost 20,000 in software upgradable options when you buy a new vehicle. There's even a war happening between Tesla and the software jailbreakers who unlocks the features for a lower price. So yeah, cars are just like video games. They too have hackers and pirates. It's amazing that cars are progressing just like video games. They have content that are locked in a product unless you pay extra to unlock their functionalities or upgrade your car. I remember a time when car upgrades are things that you actually have to install in your car. One of the upgrades that I installed in my car is this blind spot mirror. You plant this in your side mirrors and you can see the blind spots beneath the car. This is an incredibly useful upgrade, and it's super cheap too. I highly recommend them. These are like $10. Actually, hold on, it's not actually $10. I misconverted that from the original Indonesian pricing. It's actually $1. No, really, you can actually get that for $1. But now the upgrades are locked through the car's stupid software, which is ironic come to think of it. You'd expect cars to get smarter and smarter as technology goes. They do get smarter, but only at the price. So you might as well just buy a dumb car and have you to be smart about it. I mean, does anyone really need a BMW online entertainment? What, your car doesn't have Bluetooth? We can't connect our phones and listen to YouTube or Spotify there? It seems that as time goes on, the more and more advanced our softwares will be, the more and more devious the monetization schemes can be. The smarter they are in technologies, the smarter they are in trying to monetize the consumers, which in turn actually makes them dumber than the dumber cars that they're trying to innovate from. As one of the most essential tools for transportation in this modern society gets more and more advanced, we're also seeing game companies doing their best to nickel and dime the consumers and milk them as much as possible. It's amazing how car companies made used car salesmen seem more reliable in comparison. I appreciate the fact that a game like Bayonetta can still exist in this day and age. I appreciate that there are game developers like Platinum Games and, to some extent, Nintendo, who are still willing to take a step to the next level and bringing back sexiness into the gaming industry. And I also love the fact that the upcoming game Bayonetta 3 gives us options for sexiness. So for those of you who want sexiness, there's an option for you. For those of you who don't want it, there's also an option for you. I wouldn't use it. Most people are gonna turn it off, but hey, at least the option is there. Weirdly, this move got some negative reception on both sides. Some people think that sexiness is really bad and that this move is only gonna bring progress backwards to women, while some people think that this move is bad because it's giving the moral guardians an inch. Personally, I think this is a great move. I appreciate the fact that Bayonetta 3 can still exist in this increasingly sexless popular culture, where they just remove fan service because sexiness is bad. Sexiness is not bad. Sexiness should be embraced and appreciated. The problem is, we still have moral guardians who don't like them and want them to get banned off of games or any other pop culture media. And yes, I can see how giving them the option will give them an inch for sure, but I actually don't see it that way. I actually see it as the opposite. I see it as having the options to give us an inch into more and more sexiness in games. I want Bayonetta 3 to be the prime example of how video game sexiness in current year is really nothing to be afraid of. I want more and more games to have the options for both perverts and the prudes. The more and more we have games that at the very least give the perverts the options, the more and more we're gonna slowly but surely reintroduce sexiness back into popular culture. I mean, sure, it will be a slow process, but if we can keep on encouraging this feature into the masses, then we can reintroduce sexiness back into the masses. And finally, let's end this recap with a really funny video. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the brand new installment of Internet Hall Monitors. Y'all remember the Bully Hunter Hoopla where professional players attempt to beat the crap out of any players that talk smack into the microphone? Well, there's a new player in the list. Enter The Watch. The Watch is a community watch that is fighting racism in gaming, starting with Call of Duty, which is a really cheap game for a target. At worst, the Call of Duty player says the N-word in a voice chat. If you really want to tackle real racism problems in gaming, you might want to check out the Genshin Impact players because they provide classics such as, if you live in the sticks, that means you have sex with animals. That's not even the worst Genshin takes. Check out my streams on my stream channel, link down below. You can find all sorts of bad Genshin takes there. We watched through the entire ad, and yes, there are loads and loads of trash talking and bigotry on display. It's just that the trash talking that I'm hearing is nothing really special for online chat interactions. Loads and loads of slurs towards black people and derogatory terms to describe black people. One of the clip is anti-Semitic. One of them is so ridiculously out of place, it ends up being pretty hilarious.
Your mother doesn't love you. Your mother doesn't love you. Your mother doesn't love you.
Your mother never loves you. I want to know the kind of person who puts your mother never loves you alongside actual bigotry. That's the kind of statement that has to hit real hard at home in order for it to be put alongside actual bigotry. It's almost as if the person who put this clip in the compilation is personally offended by that statement. But okay then, what's the solution to fight against the bigotry that has been prominent in the gaming industry, specifically in Call of Duty? Get racism? Wait. What do you mean get racism? Oh, get racism out of gaming. Can the editor of this video please make sure that the frames can't be taken out of context? Join the watch. Okay, how can I join the watch? Watch Twitch? No. But assuming that you do watch Twitch, the idea is to clip racism and DM it to the following account. What are you gonna do about those clips? Make more funny compilations? In that case, please make more. Please highlight more of your mommy issues. Show the world that you are not loved enough. Seriously, why do you embarrass yourself like that? The point of trash talking is to be as offensive as possible. Just mute the freaking chat if you don't like hearing it. Oh, but ignoring bigotry isn't gonna solve bigotry. And so is kicking bigots off of gaming. You're not really solving the problem. You're just kicking the bigots away from the community so that they can be bigoted somewhere else. Last time I checked, we're just trying to play video games here. This isn't a place to end bigotry. This is just for us to have fun. Kicking bigots away from gaming is not fun. Educating bigots so that they're not bigoted is not fun. Educating trolls so that they're not trolling is not fun. Everything about this is so not fun, so counterproductive, and so hilariously bad. I actually encourage more and more of these to pop up. Please, all of you brand new Internet Hall monitors, have more of these and show the world how your mommy never loves you. And that's all for today's recap. Once again, huge thanks for everyone who supported this recap. You guys are absolutely fantastic. If you want to be part of the credits, go ahead and check out the links down below. Just $1 and you'll see your name with these awesome people and you'll also support this channel. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.